everyone and welcome! Continuing our Piltover streak, it's time to have a look at a champion a lot of you were excited about the most. No one really knows where Jinx came from. There are many different legends and stories trying to explain how it all started. Some say she was a young gang member who either joined the wrong crowd or she was traumatized by too many killings. Others say she suffered too much at the hands of an enemy. And some even believe she was driven insane by the Sum fumes. Some of the old-timers from Zone remember a girl who might fit Jinx's description. But that girl is still far too different from the one they know now. The girl they remember was sweet and innocent. A tinkerer with big ideas who never quite fit in and came to a bad end. Especially far-fetched legend says that she is the spirit of mayhem, which wreaks havoc in Piltover to avenge the thousands who died when Zone sank into the earth. Jinx made her first appearance on Roguery Night, a barely tolerated tradition where young boys and girls from Piltover play practical jokes on their family and neighbors. Jinx took this chance and unleashed the first of many crime sprees. She freed animals from Count May's menagerie to block the bridges, she set up explosives to shut the roads, and she even moved every street sign in the city to a new place. This was the day Jinx succeeded in spreading chaos through the entire city. The wardens blamed the local gangs, and they locked up dozens of known troublemakers for these crimes. Of course, Jinx didn't appreciate someone else getting all the credit for her work, so she made sure to be seen at every future crime scene. Reports circulated of a mysterious blue-haired Zoneite girl, but the talk of her carrying Chemtech explosives, a shark-mouthed launcher, and a repeater gun were dismissed as false. After all, how could a Zoneite chempunk possibly obtain such lethal weapons? The crime sprees escalated in lunacy until Jinx detonated a series of explosives simultaneously throughout the city. These explosives took down the statues and art structures erected by Piltover's clans. Because it was late at night, no one got harmed, but many of the clan leaders were outraged. Jinx's crime wave continued for weeks, making the warden secure every corner. She started to tag her crime scenes with insulting graffiti, often directly taunting Piltover's newest ally, Enforcer Vi. These bright pink tags finally revealed the name of Piltover's bane, Jinx. With every new crime, Jinx became more legendary. People in Zone divided into two groups. Those who saw Jinx as a hero for sticking it to the Pilties, and those who were afraid of her bringing the full force of the wardens down into Zone. This separation grew bigger when she managed to sabotage the Sun Gate and delay the flow of ships by several hours. This caused the clan leaders to lose huge sums of revenue. Knowing this city inside out, Jinx decided to offer a challenge that couldn't be ignored. She sprayed the walls of the Ecliptic Vaults, one of Piltover's most secure treasuries. She left behind a caricature of Vi, together with the details of when exactly Jinx planned to rob it. An uneasy sense of anticipation settled on both Piltover and Zone in the weeks leading up to this day. Many doubted Jinx would have the guts to show up and risk almost certain capture. When the day of the heist arrived, Vi, Caitlyn and the wardens were taking no chances and had prepared a trap for Jinx around the treasury. The clock tower rang the appointed hour, but nothing happened. It seemed Jinx had chickened out, but she was one step ahead of everyone. Jinx had a plan, and it had been in motion for days. She had hidden herself within a modified coin crate in the tall towers of the Sun Gate. For those of you who remember the Progress Day story, this is where everyone passing the bridges has to pick a statue and pay the toll. This is all Jinx had to do, as she had been delivered directly inside the vaults 2 days ago. She was now inside and she was wreaking havoc, leaving her signature pink tags on every wall, swinging from the chandeliers, and leaving explosives in every lockbox. Vi heard it all from outside and realized what was happening. She stormed inside, ignoring Caitlyn's orders to stay together as a team. The battle they fought tore the vaults to pieces in an endless chase of explosions and demolition. Eventually, Jinx and Vi confronted each other in the deepest, most secure vault. No one knows what passed between them, for Vi ran far ahead of everyone else. With seemingly no way out, Jinx fired a rocket into the ceiling and the entire structure collapsed. The wardens were able to escape in time, but Vi was trapped inside. Jinx survived by hiding in the crate that got her in. Eventually, when Vi punched her way out of the ruins, she wondered if Jinx was somewhere around, dead. But then she noticed one last tag left behind, taunting her, daring Vi to catch her. No trace of Jinx could be found, and to add insult to injury, not a single coin was stolen. To this day, Jinx keeps messing around in Piltover. She even inspired copycats among the gangs of Zone, as well as satirical plays that became popular in both cities. The reason why she is so obsessed with Vi is still a mystery. We had a chance to have a good look at her in action in the story called The Wedding Crasher. It all started with Jinx being disguised in a stolen dress. She hated both petticoats and corsets, but she was willing to wear both of them for a bit of fun. Her long blue braids were hidden beneath a ridiculous hat. She walked through the guests, trying not to scream at the dead-eyed people surrounding her. It took an effort not to grab each one of them by the shoulders and shake them awake. Jinx came to the observatory atop Count Sandvik's mansion to have some old-fashioned demolition fun. But when she'd seen there was a wedding underway, well, that was an opportunity too good to pass. The cream of Piltover society was here. The heads of major clans, famous Hextech artificers, and even the chief officer of the Wardens, known as Fat Nicodemus. His beady eyes were already darting the buffet table. A small orchestra was playing music which made Jinx yawn, and the dance floor was filled with projections of spectral dancers. Pictures of Piltover's bigwigs were hanging on the walls, and Jinx made sure to stick her tongue out at each and every one of them as she passed by. Jinx happily skipped her way to the table heaped with enough food to feed 100 families in Zone for a month. A waiter passed her, bearing a silver tray with glasses filled with something gold and fizzy. She took one in each hand, spinning away with grin. Flying foam stained the backs of dresses and coats of nearby guests, and Jinx sniggered. "Drink up!" she said, and knocked back what was left in her glasses. She bent awkwardly and set the glasses on the mosaic floor, right in the path of oncoming dancers. Then she burped the opening bars of Vi is a stupid fathead, a tune she'd only just made up. All the high society ladies turned to stare at her, and Jinx covered her mouth in a mocking wide-eyed embarrassment. "Sorry, I accidentally did that on purpose." Another waiter passed her. This one had a tray full of weird fish. She tossed them into the air and managed to catch at least one in her mouth. A few fell into her enhanced cleavage, and she plucked them out with the glee of a sump scrapper who'd found something shiny in the ooze. "You thought you could get away from me, fishy fishies?" she said, pointing a finger at each one. "Well, you were wrong." She stuffed the food into her mouth and readjusted her dress. She wasn't used to this much up top, but she giggled as she remembered what she stuffed up there. She looked up and noticed a good-looking man staring at her from the edge of the chamber. He was obviously one of the wardens, so Jinx pushed deeper into the guests filling the room. She sucked in a surprised breath as she approached the towering wedding cake. It was a frosted masterwork of pink fondant, whipped cream, and lacework caramel, a replica of the Tower of Techmaturgy. She grabbed a spoon from a nearby punch bowl and dug a hole into the cake. She dumped it all onto the floor and licked the spoon clean before tossing it back onto the table. She saw a number of guests looking at her funny. Maybe they thought she was mad. Maybe they were right. Jinx shrugged. Whatever. She reached down into her cleavage and pulled out 4 chompers. She stuffed 3 of them deep into the hole in the cake. She left the 4th one in the punch bowl. As she walked along the table, even more chompers were hidden. 2 of them ended up in various dishes, 1 of them got dropped into a hot soup, and 1 replaced the apple in the mouth of a pig. The dress was now a lot looser, and just as she pulled down the side zipper, Jinx spotted the good-looking warden from earlier. "About time!" she said, spotting another 4 wardens. 3 women and a man. "Oh, you brought friends too?" She was finally able to throw away her disguise and reveal her pink leggings, ammo-belted shorts and a vest she was hiding beneath. "Hey folks!" she yelled, leaping onto the buffet table and drawing Zapper from her thigh holster. "Hope you're all hungry." She fired a shot at the chomper in the pig's mouth. "'Cause this buffet is to die for." The chomper exploded, spreading meat and fat around. A chain reaction of detonations followed. First, the soup flew up, then the punch covered everyone, and then the climax of the detonations, the wedding cake. The 3 chompers made it fly up like a rocket before it hit the floor and scattered around. Screaming guests tried to run, slipping and tumbling in the patches of cake and punch. "Seriously, folks," said Jinx, blowing a loose strand of blue hair out of her face. "Screaming helps not at all." She pulled up Fishbones onto her shoulder and fired a rocket that blew out the nearest window. She jumped through and landed in a garden. She rolled to her feet, but then she stopped. Her escape route was sort of planned out. But then she noticed a tall, gleaming ring rider at the entrance of the mansion. "Now that I gotta try." She elbowed a host of footmen out the way and jumped into the disc runner's hand-tooled leather saddle. "So how do you start this thing?" she said, looking at all the buttons covering the control panel. "Time for a little trial and error." She pulled back the nearest lever and pressed the biggest, reddest button. Power started to build inside it. Blue light spun around the disc as the main doors to the mansion slammed open. Voices yelled at her to stop, like that was gonna happen. With that, the disc runner shot away from the mansion like a death rocket. "See ya!" she yelled over her shoulder. "Awesome party!" And that's it for Jinx. But don't worry, because we are still not done with Piltover nor Zone. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to click the like button below. If you feel like it, you can always click subscribe, and if you really feel like it, you can click the bell button on top of that. I'll leave you with 2 links to my previous videos. On the left you can jump into another story, and on the right you can listen to my recent Q&A. I answered 70 questions there. But either way, thank you so much for watching this video, and as absolutely always, thank you come again. It's such pathetic news.